We are a big fan of electric fence here at Rock Bottom Ranch. It is a key tool in our intensive grazing systems and helps us to keep our animals in where we want them and keep predators out. Our electric fence systems are made possible by this device called a solar energizer box. An energizer takes electrical energy from an outside source, in this case a solar-powered battery, and it pushes that electrical energy out through this positive terminal which is connected to our fence. In order to receive a shock, an animal must be standing on the ground or making contact with a negative grounding source, and then make contact with that positive electrical fence, thus completing the circuit and resulting in a shock to the animal. This shock is a very brief, high amperage, high voltage shock, but it does last less than 3/10,000ths of a second, thus allowing some time for that animal, or sometimes human, to be able to move away after receiving a shock. By contrast, if a bird, say, was on this positive fencing but was not making contact with the ground, that bird would not receive a shock. Now, terrain and weather can sometimes present challenges to our electrical fence systems. For example, dry, sandy, or rocky soil is a lot less conductive, and so results in a much weaker shock that may not deter animals. To overcome this, you can use additional grounding rods, you can use a higher output energizer, or you can use a special type of fence called positive-negative fence. An example of weather being a challenge is the snowy weather that we get in Colorado here in the winters. A heavy snowpack prevents that animal from having full contact with the ground and thus completes the circuit in a much weaker way, and the animal does not receive as well of a shock.